In this week's video, come along on my family holiday to the Isle of Wight. If you're a regular to my channel, you'll know I normally focus on social history, exploring the homes, workplaces and communities of the past. But every now and again, I take you along with me on one of my travel vlogs, and of course there'll still be history involved. You know I can't resist. So let's go. The Isle of Wight is England's largest island, just a short ferry or hovercraft ride from the south coast, covering around 150 square miles. Hello, welcome to Through Lucy's Lens. Mozzies. I'm Lucy, social historian and very nosy person, and I'm here on my family holiday to the Isle of Wight. But how could I come somewhere so amazing and not give you my highlights? So that's what this video is going to be, all the highlights of my trip to the Isle of Wight and why I think if you can, you should make the journey too. And we're starting off at somewhere I wanted to come when I was a little girl and we didn't come in. Shanklin Chine. Shanklin Chine is a natural gorge carved out over thousands of years by a stream cutting through sandstone and clay. The word chine is unique to this region. It means a steep-sided coastal ravine. And there's only a few in the UK, all along the southern English coast and here in the Isle of Wight. Shanklin Chine opened to the public in 1817, making it the island's oldest tourist attraction. During the Victorian period, visitors would stroll along mossy paths and admire the waterfalls by day. Then it turned into a magical show during the evening, where the chine was lit by hundreds of gas lamps. That tradition of evening illumination still happens today, although now with more eco-friendly lighting. In 1944, Shanklin Chine played an important but secret role in the war effort. It served as a concealed route for pipe sections used in Operation Pluto. This was a pipeline under the ocean that supplied fuel to Allied forces after D-Day. It's quite something to walk around here, somewhere so beautiful, and realise it was once part of such a vital wartime operation. After visiting Shanklin Chine, I took a steep walk up to Shanklin Old Village, and this is the postcard image of the Isle of Wight, a cluster of thatched cottages, many dating back to the 17th and 18th century. Some were fishermen's homes, other farmhouses, but in the Victorian era, the village became a fashionable stop for visitors arriving by rail after the station here opened in 1864. Shanklin itself expanded rapidly in the late 19th century. The seafront gained hotels and a promenade, and bathing machines were used here for sea bathing. Many of the larger houses you see here in Shanklin were built as boarding houses for summer visitors. Even now you can see the Victorian influence in the brickwork and the sash windows and the decorative ironwork. It's a really lovely example of a seaside resort that's managed to hold on to its charm while still welcoming modern tourism. You can still get your fix of arcades and seaside rock, although in Shanklin it's lower key and somehow more charming than other seaside resorts. We spent a whole day at the Needles on the west coast of the island, first taking the beautiful walk along the cliffs to the Needle Battery. Construction began on the Needles Old Battery as part of a chain of coastal defences sanctioned by the Prime Minister Palmerston. They're often called Palmerston's Follies. The goal was to shield the Solent and Portsmouth dockyard from a perceived French threat. From here, soldiers could keep watch over the shipping lanes and deter any enemy approach. The site was later adapted for new threats. During both World Wars, it hosted anti-aircraft guns and searchlights. In the Cold War era, the nearby new battery became a rocket testing site where engines for the Black Knight and Black Arrow space programs were tested. One of the most exciting parts of the visit for me was walking through the underground tunnel to a gun emplacement overlooking the Needles. The Needles are chalk stacks that have become the island's most famous landmark. You can walk through long, damp, dark tunnels right out to the end to look over the Needles. Standing there with the wind whipping around you, you can feel just how exposed and strategic this location is. You know, I'm the first one to admit that I'm not well read on military history. It just doesn't float my boat. But it was truly interesting, and it was fascinating learning about such a remote outcrop of defence. It's absolutely worth the trek up here for the views. And if you have mobility considerations, there is an open top bus that can bring you close to the entrance.
Get to go down to the rocket launch site. Right.
We know the ropes. What ropes? Hello.
Next, we went over to the main Needles tourist attraction. I remember this so clearly from my childhood visit to the island, especially filling a glass bottle with the famous Alum Bay sand, a tradition here since the Victorian era, and a fond memory for millions of children. From the cliff top, you can take the Needles chairlift down to Alum Bay Beach. The chairlift opened on the 18th of April 1973 and boasts that to this day no one has ever been injured. Looking down from the chairlift, you can see the multicoloured sands of Alum Bay. It's caused by different layers of different minerals in the cliffs. In Victorian times, tourists would walk down here and collect the sand themselves, literally chipping the rocks away to make themselves layered ornaments. Today you can still have that experience, but the sand is collected by licensed means to protect the cliffs. The chairlift is breathtaking and terrifying, and this is how it went. Okay, this is a very good example of things that I do for YouTube that I would never usually do. I'm on the famous Needles chairlift. I don't know what to say. I'm terrified, but enjoy the ride because it is one of the most spectacular views you're going to get in the Isle of Wight. And I'm doing this for you, okay? So here we go. Enjoy every minute.
I didn't. Didn't see it.
Oh,
Yeah, took a photo. Uh-oh.
oh no.
What's happening?
We're stuck.
Call the fire brigade.
Actually stuck. Oh, I'm shaking.
I think they're doing it on purpose.
Here we go. Going again.
Oh Jesus.
You're all right, yeah. You're with me.
I think I'm going to be walking back up. No, I am.
Coming up's better than going down. You can't see anything.
This is what I'm... Oh God, I'm shaking. We're moving again. Like that. Oh, everyone else looks so unbothered. It's just me. My feet are sweating. They're actually sweating.
I love it.
But I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm shaking. Even the gimbal's not working. How much my hands are shaking. We made it to the beach. Never have I been so happy to have sandy feet. From the beach, you can take a boat trip out to the Needles lighthouse. This was a must do for me because my favourite mode of transport forever will be the boat. Built in 1859, the lighthouse replaced an earlier lighthouse. This new lighthouse was right on the outer rock, providing a clear beacon. Before the lighthouse became automated in 1994, lighthouse keepers worked here on 3-week rotations. Here they lived a life of isolation. Storms could cut them off from the mainland for days, and supplies had to be brought by boat. Everything was carried up to the lighthouse on steep ladders. I loved this. From the boat, you get a sense of just how exposed the structure is, constantly battered by waves and wind. It's a reminder of the skill and endurance of the people who once kept this lighthouse running. This was, I'm going to repeat myself, the highlight of my week, I think. It's beautiful, iconic even, to be so close to these famous rocks rolling in the waves with the wind in your hair. the heavens have opened. Like a proper, this is a proper British holiday now. The heavens have opened. So we have come to a donkey sanctuary because apart from dogs and cats, donkeys are my favourite animals. There's a really nice donkey sanctuary here. It's free to enter. And we thought, rainy day activity, yeah, let's go and stand in a field with the donkeys. We're hard, you see. We're hard, we're used to the rain. So yeah, I'm going to show you the donkey sanctuary, if I can. Founded in 1987, the Isle of Wight Donkey Sanctuary provides a home for unwanted or neglected donkeys and ponies. It's a working rescue centre and you can visit for free. It's completely funded by donations and at the moment cares for over 100 animals at any one time. Despite the rain, it was a lovely morning with a very good cafe. The site is dog friendly throughout and the donkeys enjoy canine visitors, so Rupert also enjoyed meeting new friends. Because of the rain, we had to cut our trip to the donkey sanctuary short, so we decided to stop by the garlic farm on our drive back to the caravan. The climate on the Isle of Wight makes it perfect for growing garlic. Warm, sunny and with well-drained soil. The garlic farm started in the 1970s when a local farmer discovered that garlic thrived on the Isle of Wight. It's now one of the island's most famous food producers and they sell everything from garlic beer to garlic chocolate. I mean, I love garlic, but unfortunately garlic does not love me. Quarr Abbey is a working Benedictine monastery and it was built here in 1912. It has a unique red brick architecture and it was inspired by French monastic design. It replaced a medieval abbey that was here, and guess who destroyed it? Yeah, Henry VIII. The monks welcome all visitors and the entrance is free. The abbey's peaceful gardens are home to wildlife and the monks still brew their own beer and make a range of produce like jams, chutneys and the like. It's beautiful and low-key and the abbey still houses pilgrims from all around the world. There's really stunning wildlife here. And the Isle of Wight is one of the only places that you can see the elusive red squirrel. The Isle of Wight is one of the few places in England where they still thrive. They're protected from evasive grey squirrels here by the Solent. Spotting one was a real treat and I felt so lucky. Luckily, Rupert was somewhere else and never have I stood so quietly to watch a squirrel. So sweet, a real squirrel nutkin. As a bit of a transport geek, I had to go to Ryde to see the Hovercraft. Today, Ryde is home to the last remaining passenger hovercraft service in the world. It's been running since the 1960s, opening in 1965. And watching it glide onto the beach is, well, it's a kind of a bucket list thing for a geek like me. Every hovercraft flight runs between Southsea in Portsmouth and Ryde. The journey typically takes just under 10 minutes, making it the fastest link across the Solent. The hovercraft travels at roughly 40 knots, which is around 46 miles per hour, so apparently it does feel like you're flying across the Solent. Hover Travel's current fleet includes 2 Griffon Hoverwork hovercraft, the Solent Flyer and the Island Flyer, and each one can seat around 78 passengers. While you're in Ryde, you can also take a stroll on Ryde Pier. It's the oldest seaside pier in the UK still in use, and it opened in 1814. Originally, passengers had to be carried ashore or wade through the mud at low tide to reach the land. But this pier solved that problem and later gained a railway line and a pier tramway. The Island Line train now runs along the pier between Ryde Pierhead and Ryde Esplanade. The short journey takes about 4 minutes, end to end. It's one of the few places in Britain where trains run over the sea, and that makes it an attraction in itself. Also, historically, the rolling stock used to be converted London Underground trains, which gives it a real quirky character, and it's still loved by rail enthusiasts today who visit from all over the world. Blackgang Chine opened in 1843, making it Britain's oldest amusement park. Back then, visitors would come to see the dramatic coastal ravine, but erosion has since claimed much of the original Chine. Rather than close, the park reinvented itself with themed lands, but it still embraces its history. It's an example of how tourist attractions have evolved to survive. Blackgang Chine is absolutely bonkers. That's the only way I can describe it, really. Forget the term theme park, there is nothing much here that's going to give you whiplash. Instead, we laughed all day at the quirky displays, often something like out of a childhood fever dream. Top tip for you, if you visit, you can visit again any time within the next week, making it good value for money if you've got little ones to entertain. It certainly is entertaining.
Yeah, happy, yeah, melody.
I can't visit somewhere with a steam railway without visiting the steam railway. So we did. I visited the Isle of Wight steam railway. The story of this railway begins in the mid-19th century, when the Isle of Wight developed a network of small branch lines to connect its towns, villages and ports. After the beaching cuts in the 1960s, much of the network was closed and many of the locomotives and carriages were scrapped. But there was a group of dedicated individuals who stepped in, determined to save a part of the island's railway history. The Preservation Society began running trains in 1971, and the railway has grown steadily ever since. I love travelling on a steam train. The smell of the coal and the smoke, the slam of the carriage doors and the gentle rocking as the train pulls away. The station is full of period details, from vintage posters to enamel signs, and although the line itself is short, you can hop on and off all day with your ticket, and like everything on the Isle of Wight, it has that relaxed old world charm you just don't find many places these days. Towards the end of the day here, I fell upon what can only be described to me as a big win. This is Serena, a disused railway carriage that was used as a holiday home on a local farm since the 1940s. Railway carriages have been used as beach huts on the Isle of Wight for many years. Discarded and covered in bramble, Serena was rescued and brought here for restoration. It's still a work in progress, but I was so in love with this little carriage where so many people had spent happy holidays by the seaside. If anyone from the museum is watching, I would be happy to come and give my time to Serena to give it more of that 1940s holiday feel. Isn't she a Bobby Dazzler? While you take a look around the carriage, there were some other notable places we visited that I didn't include in this video. Of course, I had the most wonderful day at Osborne House, the seaside family home of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. I've actually done a whole episode about that visit, so I'll link it here above. The Isle of Wight has some sensational beaches. My favourite was St Helens Dover, where every night I took long sunset strolls with Rupert across vast sandy outcrops, watching the boats on the Solent as the sun went down. Finally, I loved Arreton Barns. This is a craft centre in the centre of the island with an eclectic mix of food, crafts and a really lovely pub where I had a cracking ploughman's lunch. This was a recommendation from a viewer, so thank you for telling me about it. Of course, in 5 days you can barely scratch the surface, but that always means there's an excuse to go back. If, like me, you take your dog away with you, I found the Isle of Wight to be exceptionally dog friendly. Most of the places we visited welcomed Rupert, but be mindful on some of the more popular beaches there are restrictions on dogs from May to September. That's okay though, because there's plenty of other beautiful beaches to choose from where they can have a run about. I hope you enjoyed my trip to the Isle of Wight. Of course, not everything we did was filmed, but these were certainly my highlights and maybe gave you some inspiration for a trip to the island, or of course the enjoyment of coming along virtually. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment, as it really helps other people discover the channel. And of course, I love chatting with you all. Next week, normal service will resume with another hidden gem I found locally. On a personal note, I just want to thank you for all your support while I haven't been very well. It's not going to stop me. If anything, it's made me more determined to tick things off my list. And I thank you so much for subscribing and for your support. I have friends all over the world now, and there's no feeling like it. So until next week, see you later. Goodbye.